All right, welcome to the University of Tasmania Sport Podcast. My name is Keegan, one of the staff members here at the University of Tasmania, working with some of the elite athletes and the sport programs here. I'm joined by a special guest, current scholarship holder, Jardene Ralph. How are you going?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for joining. This is actually our second run at this. We did a full interview and then I realised that none of the audio was recorded, so we've had a practice run and we're ready to go. Just a little bit about Jardene. Over the summer of 2018-2019, Jardene took her swimming to the ocean, competing in the Tas Open Water Series. Jardene was crowned the overall female winner of the series, which included a win in the prestigious Transderlant swim. Jardene further demonstrated her competence in the open water, winning gold in the 5-kilometre event at the 2019 Swimming Tasmania Open Water Championships, qualifying for the National Open Water Championships in the process. The second time I read that around, it's still just as impressive. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you studying here at university? And
Yeah, so I'm studying Bachelor of Pharmacy, my fourth and hopefully final year, all things going well. I've been swimming competitively for about 12 years and moved to Hobart to study pharmacy and kind of got back into swimming after having a little break. And still absolutely loving it.
Excellent. So I believe you're formerly from Launceston as well?
Yep, that's correct.
Excellent. So I see here that you're a swimmer. You do in the pool as well, I believe?
Yeah, mostly in the pool.
Which one would you prefer?
I think the pool overall, but the ocean's definitely something I'm really enjoying and probably maybe even enjoying a little bit more eventually, hopefully.
Yeah, probably at the moment with the coming into winter, you'll be, really keen to get back in the pool.
Very
no
keen
doubt.
already.
Excellent. So very impressive there. Open water swimming, I've had a little go at that myself, only at 500 metres, and I'll tell you what, I really struggled, and that was on a 30-degree day at down the east coast, and the water was completely flat, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done. But so no doubt, being an elite swimmer, you'd no doubt have a pretty intense schedule. What drives you to get up in the morning, especially when it can be, really cold here in Tasmania, and what motivates you to go train every day?
Yeah, there's definitely a few things that kind of come together to make you want to get up and go. I think a big one is just remembering goals. I had set to go to Tokyo Trials, and that was a really big goal of mine for the past few months. So remembering that I need to go to training to achieve that, and that the hard training, although it's hard, it can be cold, it can be just so overwhelming, and but it's everything to get yourself to that goal and to that final point. Also being there with my friends, we're all there to help each other out and push each other through those hard training sessions, and we hold each other accountable. If you don't come to training, you will hear about it later on. So yeah, it's good environment, good people to be with to push yourself.
Yeah, no doubt. When I've gone for a swim, if I'm by myself, I usually do about a kilometre, and then I'm like, no,
same.
no more. That'll do me.
Yeah.
But if I'm with someone else, you feel like you have to keep doing a little bit more.
Sure.
And if you are competitive there as well, you want to do it all faster than the other person.
Definitely.
So you said you were training for the Tokyo Trials, which were meant to be in July.
Yeah.
We could probably assume that's perhaps changed a little bit.
Definitely postponed to probably next July.
How has that changed, and what's your schedule like in terms of preparing for what would have been a big event in July? Have you extended that out, or was it a little bit of a hiatus and then you'll start ramping it up later?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely changed. We had a whole season plan to get to there and do well there, but seeing as it has been postponed, I'm trying to look at it a little bit like a blessing in disguise at the moment. I've been a bit down with a bit of a back injury recently, so that kind of time to have a bit of time off, recuperate, get myself back into a good mental game is really important. I haven't had a break for quite a while now, so time off, and now just to prepare and get myself ready for Tokyo Trials for the next year. Hopefully even swimming at the Open Water National Championships, if they go ahead in time, would be really fun as well, which I didn't get to do this year. So hopefully next year I'll be able to get into that too.
Awesome. Yeah, it's interesting. As soon as it looked like a lot of the sport was going to be postponed, we heard of a lot of athletes jumping straight into surgery and doing those things because they'll have that extended rest that they probably wouldn't usually have. we see that a number of swimmers like Kyle Chalmers are getting back in the pool. They have to do testing before they even get into the centre. Is that something that you think will start to be available for the Tassie athletes?
I mean, I hope so. Definitely a hopeful thing, but I mean, it's up in the air. I don't really know. Hopefully soon it will happen. There've been talks about it coming in shortly-ish. Don't know what shortly means, but I guess we'll find out soon.
Yeah, it's certainly all up in the air at the moment,
yeah.
And it changes day to day about what it's going to be. With all the restrictions in place at the moment, you see a lot of the athletes are being quite creative about what they can do. How has that changed your training program, and how have your coaches adapted your sessions?
Yeah, so it has changed quite a lot, being the pool and the gym's closed, which is like 100% of how I trained. So obviously, like I mentioned, having a bit of a break. So the first 2 weeks is just kind of a chill time, and now my coach has organised Zoom sessions where like 4 times a week we jump on. There's like a group of us from the squads, and we do some strength and conditioning programs, some gym programs, and even once a week we'll just literally just hang out there just as a squad and just chat to each other and see how things are going. As well as a lot of cardio sessions, which is not my strong point. Running is not something that I definitely thrive on, but I guess it's good to do to build up a different kind of fitness. As well as a couple ocean swims, which is getting very cold now. But yeah, it's good to get out there and get the swimming muscles going every so often. No
doubt, and I'm assuming that you have to have a pretty thick wetsuit there in the Kingston waters, no doubt.
Yeah.
Were you ever concerned that they were going to shut down the beaches completely?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it was kind of that point where people were starting to talk about it, and I was a bit like, oh no, this is like my only place that I can kind of go and swim, but that didn't completely happen. So as long as we're sticking to the rules, it's all good. It's
interesting. You talk about you swim with others a lot in your training. Are you allowed to swim with other people in the open water?
Yeah, well, usually it's pretty much one other person that comes out with me. It's good to have at least someone there. It can get quite scary out in the deep ocean, not knowing what's underneath you, but kind of having someone there, you're like, okay, it's all good. If we get eaten together, and it's all good.
Yeah, definitely. I understand what you mean. As soon as I put my head underwater, I start to freak out.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm the only person there, I usually only swim for about 10 minutes, and then I'm like, nah, no more. So very impressive, no doubt. With your studying at the moment, you said you're doing a Bachelor of Pharmacy with Applied Honours, which is, a pretty full-on degree, which is impressive in itself if you're doing that by yourself. But considering that you also got a pretty intensive training program, how do you manage your training, your study, and your social life? How do you manage all that?
Yeah, for me, it's all about structure, making sure that each day that I have, the morning is for swimming, the middle of the day is all for uni and for studying, and then at the end of the day, it's again swimming, and then maybe a little bit of study on the end of that. So it's very structured for me, which has been a bit difficult now with not having that structure, but definitely trying to develop that now. I think I'm getting better at it, hopefully. But yeah, just finding time, and sometimes, swimming will come first when it comes near a competition. Other times, uni will come first, especially like when assignments or exams are coming up. Social life can be difficult. Definitely my friends will say I'm not so great at that one, but trying to just make sure I'm keeping connected. We have chats every now and then, every afternoon now. We're just kind of getting on and chatting to each other. So finding a balance is really important, something that I think I'm still developing. I think everyone can still get better at finding that, yeah. You
mentioned just then you're obviously catching up with friends, and you're doing those Zoom sessions with your training squad, I believe. How important is those sort of social catch-ups?
It's so important. It can get very boring just sitting at home doing nothing all day by yourself, and just having those people around you who are going through the exact same thing you are, especially with the swimmers, we're all really missing the pool and being around each other, and so we're just kind of there knowing that we're all going through the same thing. When we get back in the pool, we're all going to be a lot worse than what we were when we got out. So knowing that and just remembering that and just, getting through.
Yeah, excellent. I believe you do a little bit of coaching as well. You actually got the 2019 Young Leadership Award. How important is coaching to you, and have you always coached?
Yeah, so coaching is a very important thing to me. I started doing when I moved down to Hobart. It is kind of what got me back into swimming as well. Seeing them swimming, I'm like, I kind of want to get in there and do it with them. It's really important. Yeah, it's something that I'd love to do for as long as I can. There's two amazing feelings. There's a feeling of making a goal that you've made. You've done it, you've achieved it, and then it's just the same feeling when you've helped one of your swimmers to achieve their goals. You know how hard it is as an athlete to get in the water every day and train hard, and sometimes you just don't want to be there. But when you see a swimmer achieve their goal, it's just the best feeling ever, really. Yeah.
Have you had one of those? Do you want to name one of those experiences?
Yeah, so I had a swimmer, his name was Tig, and he was really great swimmer. He doesn't swim anymore, unfortunately, but he was going for a national standard time, which kind of reflected well with me because I was in that same point pretty much at his age. And he was training really hard. You could just see how much he was into it and just wanted to push for that national time. And I was coaching him at States, and he went for his 200 metre IM, which I hate that race, but he was loving it. And he has terrible eyesight like myself, couldn't see the board when he came in. So Ooh. When he came back over, I said, do you know what you did? And he's like, what did I do? I said, you made a national time, and you just like broke down. And I was like, awesome. That's just the best feeling to see him do that. And it's just amazing to think that I could help him do that. A lot of it's to his credit, but yeah, it's great to think that you're part of that.
Swimming's a great sport to do, and especially to coach. It's one of those sports that's a lifelong physical activity. You see a lot of these athletes that they can't do their sport after they're 30 or 40, but swimming's one of those things that you can do, well into your later years.
I have a few swimmers that I coach are up and they're like 50, 60 still going for it, which is great.
Yeah, I see them in the pool myself. When I go swim, there's these 70-year-old swimmers that are just, I'm like splashing around trying to go as fast as I can, and they just fly past me.
Yeah.
No, excellent. Thank you very much for coming in to have a chat.
Thank you.
No doubt we'll have another person in to have a quick chat to as well. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe.
Cheers. Thank you.